And good afternoon, good evening, good morning, or good night, wherever you happen to be out there in the world. It is I, Beck Altarr, Beck Altarr Live Show on Phoenix Radio Online. Now, of course, I'm probably going to hear myself, because that's just the nature of all of this that I'm trying to figure out here as I work out a few of the little kinks that are in the system. But if you are listening on phoenixradio.online, let me know how it sounds. And if you're watching on the twitch.tv/Beck Altarr, let me know how it sounds because I am running a bunch of different things at once. And I'm not exactly sure how it's going to work. But welcome nonetheless. Tonight, going to talk a little bit about the radio and Ashes of Creation and kind of how I want to merge the two together. And if you have questions, feel free to ask. And if you would like to join me in the Discord channel, please feel free to do so. I'm in the open air chat, so anyone can join and participate in the conversation. And yes, you will go out live over the radio. So a couple of things for tonight that I am definitely going to go over. I have this Test Your Ashes of Creation Knowledge quiz. I haven't done the quiz. I've not even looked at it, so I don't really even know what it says. I also want to look at the forums, and in particular, one of my discussions that I started about the radio, simply because this is kind of the break the ice for Phoenix Radio Online. I know I've talked about it a lot lately, and this is going to be, I guess, the official conversation about Phoenix Radio Online. Every time I say Phoenix, my phone thinks I'm saying something else. It starts recording what I'm saying. So if you are in the Twitch stream, you're going to be able to watch or look at whatever I'm looking at when it comes to the forums or any other website that I happen to be looking at here this evening. And if you're on the radio, you're just hearing my lovely voice. And that's okay too. And if you're in Discord, you're hearing my lovely voice as if it was on the radio. However, if you are not listening via either Twitch stream or the radio, there is some content that you are likely going to miss. So I'm going to put that out for you guys right now because I do want to show off a few things that I'm looking at doing as part of the radio for fun. And some of these things I'm hoping I'll be able to do with Ashes of Creation if they are voicing NPCs. And we're going to have a little bit of fun. I'm going to play some of these things throughout the next hour just to have a little bit of fun. Now, most of these are, unfortunately, based on either Diablo or World of Warcraft, because that's when I made these, was back when I was trying to do an online radio for World of Warcraft. And it was a lot of fun. And I kind of have a couple of new ones here. So here's one I'm going to play for you. And I'm just going to let it roll. And then we'll come back and we'll see what your guys' comments, responses are. Then we'll get into my post on the Ashes of Creation website. Probably play another one. So we're not going to do commercials or breaks tonight. We're just going to do a good solid hour or so. I hope you'll find this entertaining. Welcome to another episode of 60 Seconds with an NPC. Today we have Wilmorn Bilrug, a gnome on vacation. Greetings!
Salutations!
You're an inventor? What have you invented?
I had an idea for a device that you could put small pieces of bread in to cook. But in the end, I really didn't think there would be much of a market for it.
You're not really an inventor. Need to talk with my producers about this.
I do hope to find some interesting gadgets around here. I do love tinkering with things.
You haven't invented anything.
No, I don't think so. Everyone keeps talking about beer goggles. I can't find the plans for them anywhere.
Have you gone to any of the nightclubs? I'm sure you'll find some there.
I am in your debt.
Do you have any pickup lines for the ladies?
I have a number of inventions I'd like to show you back at my place.
That's a lie. Women like an honest gnome. Got another one?
Hey, nice apparatus.
What kind of women do you like?
I like large posteriors, and I cannot prevaricate.
Good luck with that, little man.
I look bigger in those mirrors where things look bigger.
What is something you wish you could do?
You know, I really wish I had a garden where I could put a couple of human statues. Or Gnomragon!
Well, that's all the time I'm going to give you today.
I'd like to give a shout out to my boys in Gnomragon. Keeping it real, Big T, Snoop Pup, and Little D's. Y'all are short, but you're real, baby.
This has been another episode of 60 Seconds with an NPC. Basically what that was is 60 seconds with an NPC. So I just take the NPC stuff that is out there, and then I just try to create an interview out of it or some sort of a storyline. And I have one that's a little longer that we'll do. And I do have a female gnome as well, which I think is actually better than the male gnome. And we'll go through, like I said, we'll go through a few of those here. So talking about my post here on the Ashes of Creation general discussion. Here's a post. Because I think this pretty much says what I'm going to say anyways. And hopefully you guys will share this post, like it, quote it, whatever. Definitely leave some comments on it. Just try and keep it up on the first page. So, reading. Greetings! I would like to introduce to you Phoenix Radio Online, or Pro. Phoenix is an online radio that will be playing content 24/7 themed for AoC. Now, by themed, again, it's going to try and create content that is themed for it, but there may be non-AoC stuff, at least to start with. Anyways, currently in a test mode, there isn't a whole lot of content yet, so it may sound repetitive as we work to build up the inventory of music, commercials, and other content. This is where we hope you will help. Pro will have out-of-character and in-character hosts and shows made up of community members just like you. We are a for-community, by-community concept, which means anyone can submit ideas, recordings, apply to join our all-volunteer staff as on-air voice talent, or help behind the scenes. This is the perfect time to get involved as AoC heads into Alpha 1 testing. We hope to help tell the story of AoC through characters via radio dramas and some in-character hosts. We want to share the world as if we lived in it, not just questing and building up nodes. But how would all of the systems actually work in real time versus game time? Nodes level up instantly, but in our stories, just like life, it takes a little more time. With this in mind, we won't be basing our stories on any one server, but we'll be looking at events and player actions over many to take the most interesting of them and weave them into our narratives. You may even have your character featured with a chance to voice it yourself. Now, in that situation, what we're going to do is if we reference your character because you don't want to voice it, well, then nobody else is going to voice your character. So if your name is Bibbly Fuzzybutt, and we happen to have a Bizzly Bubblebutt character, you would voice it. Probably not going to write a character with that name. So you'd have to have done something pretty impressive to kind of fit in to or with our storyline. We also will have open discussion panels where we can discuss the game and events, talk with devs at some point, interview guild leaders, and feature other community projects. What I mean by this is, we might have a guild leader on to do like a paid advertisement and interview them about their guild, which I think would be a lot of fun. Maybe we'll have Jalen from Ashes 101 on for an interview at some point. We'll have to see. And there's a lot of other community websites that hopefully we'll reach out to here eventually and invite them on for a conversation and promote what they're doing. And with all of this, I'm hoping we'll grow in numbers and support to where we can gain the attention of the development staff and we can start doing interviews with community managers, developers, and perhaps even Steve himself. Phoenix Radio Online is not out to make a profit, but we will rely on community support. All the on-air commercials will either be fake or AoC related, such as guild recruitment ads, player in-game shop ads, and community resource ads, and the like, all of which will be available free to those who wish to submit their own produced ads. We will have some level of quality control and will help those who need a little assistance in their productions or writing of ads. So what basically I'm not saying here is, yes, if you've produced your own commercial and everything, we get it and it sounds decent enough, I'll put it on there. Now, my hope is that if by doing that, somebody will throw us a few shekels to help cover the cost. But it's not going to be a requirement, and not everything's going to make it to air either. And if it doesn't, then that's where I'll give some tips and suggestions, and they can go back and try it again. Now, if somebody wants me to write the ad for them, produce their ad for them, then I'm probably going to have a charge, right? Because at that point it's like a Fiverr. If you go to Fiverr, Elance, or one of these other websites to do this stuff for you, they're going to bill you for it. Now they're going to bill you a hell of a lot more than I am, because they're going to bill you like $65 or something. Now I'm going to do it like 5, 10, or 20. Depends on how difficult or how much you want done, because it does take up my time. That does take away from everything else that I'm doing, and I think that's fair. Most importantly, what do you want to hear? Right now, we are playing license-free music. Licensing will be one of our biggest costs, so before we jump into that billing cycle, we want to make sure we are catering to our fans and future fans. So this is where, hopefully you guys will go to this forum, and if you're in the Twitch channel, I'm posting the link right now. Please share your top 3 favorite bands or top 5 favorite songs. We can't guarantee to play them all, and we will do our best to keep the radio 16 plus, which means no excessive profanity or content that is promoting drugs or abuse of people. And again, it's an excessive kind of thought process. We know some language will slip through. We also have a pretty good sense of humor, and some of our commercials may seem a bit edgy, and you guys will definitely hear some of those commercials if you're listening to the radio. Join me for my weekly show, which is tonight. It's happening right now. That's the premiere, number 1, 7 p.m. Mountain Time, 6 Pacific, 9 Eastern. Well, I will talk a bit more about the radio, our goals, and I hope talk with some of you as well. I will be also Twitch streaming the show, as I am. Remember, it's a radio program, so not heavy on visuals. And if you can join, the chat or our Discord. Thanks for reading. Please give us a listen, share your feedback. We are in the alpha stages of the radio ourselves. If you think you're going to help or want to help, let me know. So that's the original. One of the comments we got here is Zenator. During my Ragnarok time, there was also a radio for the game. I loved it, so thumbs up for doing this. Now they had 3 channels with different music styles: one casual, one rock, one anime, as the game was anime styled. It was quite popular. I think that's what he means. He says quick here, but I think he means quite. Nowadays, I hear mostly epic music mixes like this one, and he posts a bunch of different stuff here. I said, or I make my own playlist, mostly from Two Steps from Hell. Still waiting for game to do their OST with Two Steps from Hell. Um, as for the top 5 songs, and I've listened to them, they're all instrumental, but they sound great. They're probably songs I could add to the radio, because I'm hoping that there will be a soundtrack for Ashes, and that will get added to the radio as well. And we'll probably use some of that music for show intros, commercials, and other things, just to try and again add more of that theme into the station, so that when you hear these things, you're going to, oh yeah, that music plays in this part of the game as well. So, like I said, if there's enough support, I can look at adding other channels, same similar content, different music, and probably hosts. It's definitely an interesting idea, but it's an expensive idea, because by adding more channels, of course, I have to pay more money. So, we'll see. No promises. And it can be a little more to manage as well. If you're just playing straight music and you're not actually trying to be a radio, it's easy. But at that point, you might as well just create your own Spotify playlist. There, there's not going to be a lot of difference. Whereas what I want to do is actually try and tell a story. So then we got this guy here. Good idea. I recall a group running a radio station during Star Wars Galaxy's development, and it was fun for the fanboys hearing all frothing over your speakers. And then personally, he says, I listened to some other website, great station for all your movie and gaming listening fixations. Check it out. That is rude. This Neshivo guy, that's rude. This post is not for you to promote a competing station or service. You should really create your own post if you want to do that. This is just being ignorant and rude. Now, I'm not going to post that. I'm going to let other people post that this is just rude and ignorant to do that, because it is. That's like people from World of Warcraft coming into the forums here and just lighting up the forum saying, "Oh, World of Warcraft is so much better." Click, 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 click. Why wait 2 years? Just join this game. That's rude. And I can assure you the devs would not tolerate that. They would remove that right now, from that. So I just think this is just being, like I said, rude and ignorant to come on somebody else's thread and try and post something else. It's just not good. Anyways, this other guy says, this is a Novercalis, I think this may be too early to do. There was a game called Fallen Earth. It was an MMORPG post-apocalypse. I think I remember that game. It was an okay game for what it is, just not fun. I guess it's just not funded, maybe, to make it come to life, I suppose. But the RP community on this game was probably one of the best RP communities I have ever been in. There was a guy who ran a radio show a la the Warrior style, and he would break character once a week to host a DJ in-game party meet greet RP with other RPers. We all congregated on an RP forum site. People uploaded their stories, diaries, videos, news events, calendar events, etc. I may be looking into doing some type of radio show perhaps, or no news, uncertain yet. But starting up one now, all you can really do is just play music. The radio personality is what makes it and ties it up to the theme and feel the world. Many of us don't know how the world feels yet, but good luck to you. I'll keep an eye on your progress and hope to see more of this type of thing pop up for different servers/nodes. And then winner, with a bunch of numbers, says, this could be fun. And it will be fun. My response is there's lots of opportunities to have content. With no NDA, we will see a lot of story and content we wouldn't otherwise see a lot earlier than usual. Also, where we are entering this game, we come from a different world where for thousands of years we have lived. There are lots of stories to tell and to introduce our characters and tell the stories leading up to the portal's opening. We could also try and figure out what is happening on Vera as well leading up to the portal's opening. Do they know it's going to happen? Do the Tulnar have anything to do with it? Or are they just as surprised? And so, again, what I'm hoping to do is start writing some very general plot lines that are going to create a few characters, one of which will be mine. And basically, those characters are just kind of live their day to day. Introduce the character like you would in a movie, in a book, and just kind of get a sense of who they are, what do they do, what's their motivations, what's their reasons for being. And all of this before the portals open, because I'm imagining on Sanctus, when the portals open, a lot of things change in the lives of a lot of people. You're going to have the powerful who are going to clearly want to control the portals. You're going to have people that want to profit here off the portals. You're going to have people that are maybe trying to escape the law or escape other things, and they're going to want to try and get through the portals. It would not surprise me that once they figure out the portals one way, that the powerful are no longer going to send their best adventurers through. They're going to start throwing out the trash. It's basically going to be, you're a criminal, off you go. Because they don't know what's on the other side of the portal. They don't know if there's an army on the other side, and every time they send people through, they just get wiped out. They don't know if you're just going out into space. They don't know anything. All they know is people go through, nothing comes back. So again, they'll probably send through a little bit their best, or those willing, hoping that they're going to get something, some signal or something coming back. I can't imagine that in the game lore, it's going to actually have like a god telling you that these portals are one way. The sense I'm getting from the story is we're people that are adventuring or whatever to go through and kind of see what we do. Now, obviously, like I said, the powerful are going to try and control the portals, but eventually I think they would just, nothing's coming back through, so you might have a couple of guards standing at the portal and that's it. Right, just, and maybe a runner just in case something does come through the portal, that you have some sort of warning mechanism of an invasion. But other than that, you're really not going to put a lot of effort into protecting the portal. And so if somebody wants to run through because they're running from the law or whatever, you're probably just going to let them go. It's one less mouth to feed. So what are you worried about? And that's one potential way of looking at it. There's also going to be those people that are going to remember the histories or have histories or lore about the first portals. Because here's the other thing you have to remember. It's been thousands of years. It's been potentially tens of thousands of years. So the people or the stories about Vera and the portals by this time are myths. At best, it's like Old Testament Bible. And that's, technically 2 or 3,000 years old kind of thing, right? So a lot of that is not necessarily going to be relevant to your average everyday sanctus citizen. You know, you may have some churches that are based on really old religions, but of course, over time, those religions and the faiths would change, they would evolve. Vera has magic, Sanctus doesn't. So magic becomes mythic, it becomes legend. But you will have those few small cults that are going to the best of their ability, worship in the old ways. And so you're going to have those situations where maybe the people see those groups as kind of kooky, crazy. So there's all of these things that I'm hoping I can try and bring together, either through just individual storylines, a lot of it, hopefully, maybe through some rumor. Obviously, there's going to be some sort of political system depending on the different portals. Now, I'm probably going to focus more on the portal that I'm going to go through nearest me. So I'm really hoping that I can kind of start setting some of this up. And then in alpha, when they start doing some of the streaming from the streamers, we're going to see a little bit of lore, a little bit of storyline. And then from there, I can try and guess some of the rest of the lore. And I'm going to try and write it in such a way that it's okay if I get things wrong, because we get things wrong all the time about our histories. You know, we get taught wrong. The textbooks are omitting information. So it's not difficult to understand that somebody is clearly misunderstanding something else. So that's kind of what I want to do with the storyline. I'm going to welcome other people to help with the writing. Definitely need lots of people to voice things. I'm going to need voices for characters. And of course, I'm going to have my show, and I have to come up with the lore of how does a radio even exist? And that'll probably be quite the narrative. I'll have to figure out. But anyways, let's throw another audio in here and another one of the little mini dramas. And we'll use this as a little bit of a break. And then I'm going to try that AoC quiz test thingy and see how that goes.
Help! Help! I need your help.
Are you okay? What's wrong?
Oh, I thank you, friend, for coming to my aid.
What can I do to help?
Yes, stay a while and listen.
Okay, why do I get the feeling you say that to a lot of people?
Have I told you about the Horadrim?
No, and I'm not really interested. Why are you here?
I've not set foot in glorious Kurast for many years, but I never would have imagined it could be so corrupted. It gets very unnerving here, especially when I'm alone.
I don't have all day. Do you need actual help?
I understand your reluctance.
Listen, I'm kinda busy. Got places to be, stuff to buy.
This is a great victory indeed. As a token of my gratitude, I will accompany you on your journey, lending what assistance I can. I will identify items for you at no charge.
Excuse me, I couldn't help but overhear. Might you be able to identify this for me?
Quickly in and quickly out is all the advice I can give you.
I'm looking for a sage. Know any?
I've read legends about a sage named Kuile. His ashes were ensconced within a golden statuette.
Thank you. I have to go. Don't you have anyone looking out for you? That girl, she's coming our way.
Anya. Such a fine example of feminine strength. She reminds me of the Zakarum priestesses I knew in my youth. They don't take vows of chastity, you know. For one so young, now that she is here, I will make it a point to talk to her.
Here, you might need this. I have a pile of them back in the scrapyard.
I thank you, friend.
Great. I'll leave you two alone then. Goodbye.
You have done everything you set out to do, my friend. Ever since you rescued me, I have believed in you. It has been a supreme honor to aid you along the way. Farewell.
So, there you have it. Another one of those extended NPC interviews, I guess you could say, and I just kind of, again, took everything that was available and scripted around it, and there you go. You have a nice little vignette of a radio drama. This is from Reddit, and I will post this in the Twitch channel as well, and you guys can participate. Now, I'm going to do this now, and maybe I'll do this one again, just to see if my knowledge gets better. So, dear Ashes of Creation brethren and enthusiasts, I've put together a 50-question quiz on Ashes of Creation for the community to partake in. The purpose is threefold. One is a means to educate newer enthusiasts as well as to test the knowledge of veteran lurkers. Two, to create a friendly, hopefully competitive atmosphere. Leaderboards exist. Three, to give the community something to do while we all wait for Alpha 1 to start, either as participants or viewers of those that will be streaming. Info about the quiz. The quiz will be up for 1 week for anyone to participate in. Oh, hopefully I haven't missed it. But only one entry is allowed. The first page asks for a name. This is for leaderboard purposes. The questions will get progressively tougher. Please read the questions carefully. All questions and answers have been verified for accuracy by the maintainer of Ashes Creation Wiki. I've stayed away from asking questions related to cosmetics. I'll share another. So let's see if I can get in. Yay! Let's see how well I do. Next, hopefully it's still up. It's been a few days. Okay, which of the following is not a design principle of Ashes of Creation? Risk reward, meaningful conflict, pay to win, dynamic world evolution. I'm going to say pay to win. How many primary archetypes are there? 4, 8, 6, or 10? I believe there are 8. The name of the Ashes of Creation world is Sanctus, Tulnar, Vera, Azeroth. It is Vera. Ashes of Creation offers how many playable races? 4, 8, 10, 5, 9, 12. This is a trick question because you can play as a human, elf, dwarf, orc, and eventually Tulnar. And you can be both male or female, which would give you 10. We have to remember, although we may consider females to be a different playable race, they indeed are not. True or false, the Tulnar evolved from combinations of the parent races that failed to flee Vera during the Great Calamity. True. Should probably pick this up. 50 questions, don't have a lot of time. How many gateways are there on Vera? Wow, 4 portals. The Phoenix is the celestial avatar of the goddess of creation. A player may choose their secondary archetype when they reach what level? 25. There are blank gear slots for characters in Ashes of Creation. I believe it's 13. There's hands, arms, chest, legs, boots, helmet, cloak, probably rings, 2 weapon types. So yeah, I think there's 13. Ashes of Creation will offer open world and instant dungeons at the following ratio. I think it was 80% open world, 20% instance. What is the approximate influence of gear on a player's overall power level? Oh, now this one I don't know. Of gear, I'm going to say 60 to 70%. I don't think it's going to be 80 to 90 because I think skill is definitely going to be a big part of that, but obviously gear is going to play a role, and it's going to be at least 50% or more. So I'm going to say 60 to 70. True or false, the Necromancer is one of the 8 primary archetypes. No, I think Summoner is, but Necromancer is one of the 64. Including castle nodes, how many total node locations will Ashes of Creation have at launch? 118, I believe. True or false, a player does not need to be a shipbuilder in order to construct ships. That's true. Which of the following statements is false? There will be underwater dungeons. There will be underwater nodes. There will be underwater mounts. There will be mechanics for underwater breathing. As far as you know, there are no underwater nodes. True or false, secondary archetypes only provide augmentations to the player's primary archetype skills. True. How many node stages, including 0, are there? 7. There's the first camp, their expedition, and then the second camp, then town, village, city, metropolis, and so there'd be 0 for 7. True or false, Ashes of Creation will include naval PvE and naval PvP content. True. What is a vassal node? Any stage 3 or higher node with an elected mayor, a node on the coast offering coastal fishing, an enslaved node by a stage 3 or greater parent node in its zone of influence, a node of player housing. So a vassal node, I don't know if it's enslaved. I mean, I guess technically it is. True or false, a vassal node can declare war on any of their vassal nodes. That would be false. Because a vassal node can't have a vassal node. See, because a metropolis can have a vassal node, but a vassal cannot be a vassal, because a vassal basically means you are subservient to another. So you can't be a vassal of a vassal. True or false, a combatant player will not become corrupted for attacking a non-combatant player. False, a combatant player will. Well, I guess, again, trick question, right? A combatant player will not become corrupted for attacking a non-combatant player. That's true. You only become corrupted if you kill a non-combatant player. Which of the following is the one true node? Related statements rest are false. Node types can be changed resulting from node sieges. A node may de-level or disappear if a sufficient atrophy threshold is reached. Citizens of one node cannot contribute to the advancement of other nodes. Vassal nodes give excess experience to their own vassal nodes. Which of the following is the one true node? I would say vassal nodes cannot give excess experience to their own vassal nodes, because again, you can't be a vassal of a vassal. So if I'm getting these ones wrong, whoever created this quiz, doesn't understand what a vassal means or is. True or false, corrupted players' combat penalties do not apply when fighting bounty hunters. True. When they fight a bounty hunter, it's even playing field. Once a siege scroll is activated, which of the following nodes has exactly 4 days notice until the siege begins? 4 days? I think it's a city, because I think Steven said metropolises get 5 days. So I'm going to say a city. True or false, the only way to remove an elected mayor prior to the end of their term is by destroying the node. True. Players can play as monsters under what event system? Monster coin. True or false, once a node siege declaration period begins, players are prohibited from moving stored goods out of depositories within that node. So once a node siege declare has begun, players are prohibited. Yes, that's true. What is the maximum guild size for a guild that select all passive size skills? I've heard somebody say 300. Now, I've heard Steven say that there isn't really a cap yet necessarily, but I've heard that for now 300 is the cap. But I've heard it could go up, because if you have 50,000 accounts on a server with 8 to 10,000 players, a 300-person guild is going to be pretty small. But I've heard 300 mentioned in a couple of different videos. True or false, treasure hunting exists in Ashes of Creation, and potential hints are given through rumor mills and NPC interaction. I have heard absolutely nothing about treasure hunting. Or no, have I? No, I think I did. I think it was in one of the developer Q&As earlier this year. I think it was in a video I watched. I'm going to say true. I'm going to gamble on that one. What is the expected length of time for a node siege? Well, if prime time is, say, 5 to 9, that's 4 hours. And he said it'll happen during prime time. So I'm going to say 4 hours. That's based on Steven saying prime time of a server would be 5 to 9. So that's 4 hours. True or false, achieving the highest level skill in the animal husbandry profession unlocks the ability to breed dragons. Well, dragons can fly. So I would say false, because there is currently no means to get a flying animal outside of being mayor, guild castle leader, or finding them randomly from raid drops. So, which of the following is the one false statement relating to a node's reliquary? The rest are true. If a node with a reliquary is destroyed, the attackers gain limited access to the relics that were stored in it. True. The Metropolis node stage is required for a node to have a reliquary. I believe that is true. Completing a dungeon in record time progresses the production of a relic that exists within the reliquary for the node of the citizens involved in the feat. I'm not too sure. The reliquary spawns unique items for its citizens' use based on the node's performance progression. I think this is the false statement here. The record time progresses. Yeah, I think that one's the false one. True or false? Combat pets are one possible result of breeding through the animal husbandry profession. I think the only pets or mounts that will do combat. Well, no, because you can. Isn't there like a hunter or something? No, because a summoner can summon stuff that'll hang around. I think up to 3 of them. I'm trying to think. I don't think there's like a hunter class necessary. I'm going to say false. I think the only animals that will do PvP are royal flight, but this is combat pets. Generally in MMOs, pets don't do combat. They just follow you around and look cute or ugly, depending on what you have. So, one possible result of breeding through. I'm going to say true because I could see this being something that could potentially happen. Which one of the following augment types does not exist? Racial augments, class augments, mayoral augments, religious augments, social organization augments. Well, I know you can get guild augments, so that's a social. Yeah, if you're part of the religion, you get an augment. Class augments you get because you have, your primary archetype, and then you augment with your second. There will be, I guess, racials, which I guess would be racial augment. So a mayoral augment. Again, this is, I think, a bit of a trick question because if you're mayor, you do get special abilities. But are they augments? I would say that one's the one that doesn't exist. True or false, you can be elected mayor of more than one node simultaneously. Wow. No, because you can only be citizen of one town, village, city, metropolis at a time. Which of the following is not a perk of a guild-owned castle? Guilds can pocket part of their tax income for whatever they want. Guilds can activate events and abilities that progress node citizens. Guilds can set a cap on the number of players allowed in nodes under the castle's region. Guilds can influence crop yields, resources, and events with the castle's region. I think that's just worded clumsily. Crop yields, resources, and events within the castle's region. I know guilds can like send money to metropolises or villages or whatever for defense and stuff like that. It can activate events and abilities that progress node citizens. I'm going to say that one's not a perk. That sounds something more like a mayor would do. True or false, during a siege, up to 8 members belonging to the same archetype can band together to create a monumental archetype effects, providing they are in the same group or raid. Now that does sound pretty cool, but I have heard nothing about something like that, so I'm going to say false. True or false? While mounts can be killed by players, they can also be resurrected after a certain cooldown period. True. The estimated maximum size for a guild, choosing all available path of guild options rather than path of size is, so the estimated maximum size for a guild, choosing all available path of guild options rather than path of size is, I would say 20 to 25. I don't know. I don't know that one. I haven't heard anything about that. Like I know you can either put points into guild augmentations or guild size, but I haven't heard about the number. True or false, Chief Bounty Hunter is an achievable title position in a node's government. Not that I'm aware of. Hello, Danny. Welcome to the show. Changing citizenship has no cooldown, a cooldown of 2 weeks, a cooldown of 24 hours, a cooldown of 1 week. Changing citizenship has, I would probably say a week. That would sound reasonable. 24 hours seems too short. I'm probably wrong. True or false? Harvesting tools will be a requirement of gathering artisan classes. True. Which of the following choices are true regarding storyline quests and story arc progression? A. There exists personal, cultural, and regional story arcs that drive one or more quest lines. This storyline quest can have multiple stages, which can actually be failed. Gated content exists in Ashes of Creation, requiring the completion of epic and legendary quests. I want to say A and B. I don't think there's really anything gated. I think it's all. I'm trying to remember. Gated content. I don't think there's gated content. Personal, cultural, and regional story arcs that drive one or more quest lines. A storyline quest can have multiple stages, which could actually be failed. Gated in the sense that if that node isn't a high enough level, it won't spawn. Yeah, and that's exactly. It's not so much that, like, as this one says, gated content exists in Ashes of Creation, requiring the completion of epic and legendary quests. Right, so it's gated through node development, but I don't think it's gated through questing. So I'm pretty confident C is not part of the answer. There exists personal, cultural, and regional story arcs that drive one or more quests. That I think is yes, because if you're part of a religious order, that's culture, as well as the type of node, whether it's economic, scientific, militaristic, whatever the other one is, economic. So that could technically also be cultural. And personal is just your average everyday questing. So I think A is true. Storyline quests have multiple stages, which can actually be failed. I think I did hear something about that. I would say A and B. Which of the following choices is false regarding gatherable resourcing? There will exist moving resources. True. Resources will be locked to the node system. Yeah, I think that's true. Because as the node builds up, more resources will appear, or they could start appearing in different parts of the map. Resources can exist as a cluster that will last until fully depleted. True. Some resources will respawn at different locations once collected. True, I think. Resources respawn on a cooldown basis. True. Maybe it's locked to the node system. So I know as a node increases in level, you will have access to that. They'll exist moving resources. Well, that's true because you're gonna have like farming and stuff, like killing animals, like for leather and whatnot. Technically, they're all true. But I would say this one, because that's the one I guess that's closest to being. Yeah, exactly. It seems a little iffy that it's locked. What is the World Manager, an epic quest event combining the leaders of all 5 castles? A title bestowed to the mayor of the first metropolis on each server, an AI algorithm that controls dynamic world elements in Ashes of Creation, the name of the leader of the ancients. Now, it's part of their AI algorithm that helps them with spawning and stuff like that. How many religions are there in Ashes of Creation? Technically 7. There's 6, and then there's an underworld religion as well. So technically 7. Which of the following statements about the Underrealm are true? Caravan routes will go underground. There can be an Underrealm metropolis. Underrealm nodes and nodes directly above them exist in the same zone of influence. Which of the following statements about the Underrealm are true? Caravan routes will go underground. There can be an Underrealm metropolis. As far as I know, there can't be. As far as I know, Underrealm nodes and nodes directly above them exist in the same zone of influence. So I want to say A and C are true. Because, I mean, you may not be able to have a metropolis underground. Can there be? I don't know. I don't remember hearing anything about an Underrealm metropolis. I remember hearing you can have like a city or something, but just because of the size of the metropolis, You wouldn't be able to. It wouldn't necessarily have one underground. Otherwise, underrealm nodes and nodes directly above them exist in the same zone of influence. Well, what do you consider the zone of influence, right? So if you have a metropolis above ground, I guess would you have a vassal node underneath it? No, I'm going to say no. Well, if you think there could be an underrealm metropolis, then caravans would go underground. So it would be A and B. Like I said, I mean, even if you can have a village or something, you can still get a caravan underground. Assessing the threat of an enemy player is enabled by inspecting the enemy player and getting a gear score number indicating their power. Seeing the level and health bar values of the enemy player and comparing against yours. A threat manager module providing your chance of defeating the enemy player as a percentage value. A buff indicator with a border on the enemy player indicating predominant type, level, quality, and enchantment of the gear they are wearing. I think it's a buff indicator. I think it's what they say. It's just kind of like a symbol around their name and stuff like that. So, which of the following PvP focused events work outside of the normal PvP flagging system? Caravans, castle sieges, node sieges, and guild wars. Which of the following PvP focused events work outside of the normal PvP flagging system? Well, caravans, you have to flag up to attack. Castle sieges and node sieges are kind of the same. I mean, they're still PvP. I think, yeah. Guild wars, I think, which of the work outside of the normal PvP flagging system? Well, okay, here's the problem. What's the reference of the normal PvP flagging system? I mean, technically, they're all outside of the normal PvP flagging system, right? Like you have to flag up to attack the opponent. So I'd say all of the above, A, B, C, and D. When two parties are fighting the same NPC mob, which one of the following determines looting rights? The party that tags the mob first, the party that executes the finishing blow on the mob, the party that does the most damage to the mob. Loot is split between both parties based on damage done after rounding to the nearest 10% and giving preference to the party that tagged the mob first. The party that tags the mob first, providing they do at least 40% of the overall damage. That's the correct one, I do believe. Well, 38 out of 50. Let's see. The full results of all question answers are broken down by selected percentage will be provided in the Reddit and forum posts a week after the quiz. Special thanks to maintainer. So I got 38 out of 50. I think I probably should have done a lot better than that. Even Steven only did 43% or 43 points, which kind of tells me that, well, I mean, that might have been somebody else just writing his name if that was actually him. How many primary? I got that one right. Okay, so pay to win. See which ones I got wrong. Ashes creation. How many playable races? 5. See, it's not. It's playable races. It's 5. They're not human, elf, dwarf, orc, Tulnar. That's 5 races, right? And then if you add male, female, see, and this is the thing, right? It's 5 races. Women are not a race of a sub-race of a race, right? Like, I am a man, my girlfriend is a girl, but we are both human. So we're both of the same race. I mean, you could say sub-race, but that's not what this says. So I got that one correct. This is an error of the test. Let's see what else we got here. There are gear slots. Okay, so I swear I heard 13 from Stephen himself. I think it was in his Q&A. I think he mentioned 13. Now I understand. He's thinking off the top of his head, and sometimes he gets things wrong. What is the approximate influence of gear on a player's overall power level? See, and I said around 50%. It makes more sense to me it be over and not under 50%. So they're really basing a lot of this on skill and your group, which is actually good. I mean, that doesn't make me feel bad at all, because this tells me that being in a group is very important and it's very necessary, because if you're not very good, or I mean, we have to remember the classes are not balanced for one-on-one PvP. They are not balanced for that. So if I'm a healer and you're a fighter, you will probably crush me. That's the way the game is. Unless I can kite you. Right? If I can do that, we're probably fine. Let's see what else I get wrong here. Which of the following is the one true node-related statement, rest are false? Vassal nodes give excess experience to their own vassal. And again, that's wrong, because whoever made this test doesn't understand. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm getting it wrong, right? A holder of land by feudal tenure or on conditions of homage and allegiance. A person or country in a subordinate position to another. This question is badly worded. Okay, this vassal nodes cannot have a vassal node. And this says they can. So you cannot. So that is an error. So I will take that one as I got it right. What is the expected length of time for a node siege? 2 hours? No, that's too short. I mean, 3 hours, sure. I would say 4 hours. If it's 5 to 9, that's prime time. Then give it, an expected length. 3 hours, because 4 would be your maximum. I'd say 2 should be your minimum for a node siege. If you have 250 to 500 players fighting each other, no, man, you ain't getting that done in 2 hours. No. I mean, no, it's going to take longer than that. Which of the following is the one false statement relating to a node's reliquary? Completing a dungeon in record time progresses the production of a relic that exists within the reliquary of the node. That's what I said. Metropolis node stage is required for a node to have a reliquary. Okay, so I got that one wrong. And that's something I haven't heard. I have not heard. Vassal nodes can't have their own vassal nodes, though. Well, vassal can't be a vassal of a vassal, right? Like, can't. It's in the definition of the dictionary. Yeah, you'll have a metropolis, and then it will have vassals. You have a metropolis in a city. That city would have a vassal, right? But the way this is worded is its vassal is a vassal of its own vassal. So it's worded that a vassal is equal to its own vassal. You can't do that. It's wrong. You would have to word it like a vassal of a metropolis could then send excess to a vassal of the city, right? You'd have to word it like that. But you can't word it as a vassal is equal to a vassal. It's poor English. It's terrible English. Yeah, and as far as this the reliquary goes, I haven't heard a whole lot about those. So that I think it's fair to get that one wrong because I haven't heard a whole lot about it. Which of the following is not a perk of a guild-owned castle? Guilds can set a cap on the number of players allowed in nodes under the castle's region. So guilds can set a cap on the number of players allowed in nodes under the castle's region. Okay, yeah, guilds can activate events and abilities. Oh, so I guess they can't. So I guess they can do the same thing as a mayor. Okay. And again, I don't know a whole lot about that yet because I haven't looked into too much of that. True or false, during a siege, up to 8 members belonging to the same archetype can band together. Okay, so I guess you can do Power Rangers and Thundercats and stuff. So yeah, there you go. The estimated maximum size for a guild choosing all available path of guild options is 30 to 50. Okay, well, and that's not too bad. You know, I mean, I thought 20 to 25 because your minimum guild size is probably going to be 20 to 25. So I guess you will probably have to put points into growing your guild. That would be my guess. True or false, Chief Bounty Hunter is an achievable title / position of Nodes government. Okay, didn't know that. I was just guessing. Changing citizenship. A cooldown of 2 weeks. Nice. That's even more punishing. I thought a week would be fairly punishing. I was kind of going for more the middle of the road. But if it's 2 weeks, ouch. Yeah, you're... because even a week is a long time. Let's see. Which of the following choices are true regarding storyline quests and storyline arc progression? So I guess all of the above are true. So there you go. And that's it. So I didn't get I only got 12 wrong. So that's not too bad. You know, 76%. So for a guy that's only been really paying attention to this game here since the 23rd. So 1, 2. I'm not even 3 full weeks into Ashes of Creation. And I'm already popping off at 76%. Pretty good to see how well you guys do. I think that'd be really fun and interesting to see how everybody else is doing. And with that, I think we're going to bring our show to a close. What I hope to do as time goes on with my radio show, because this is going out over the radio, as well as I'm Twitch streaming it. What I really hope to do, and what I really hope doesn't happen, is because I hear myself talking. That's why if I pause and it seems a little weird, it's because in my monitor I'm hearing myself talk, and I need to change a couple of settings so I don't. It kind of throws me off. Thank you guys so much for hanging out and listening to the very first Beck Altarr Live. Let's play a couple of these vignettes and then we'll send it back to the music on the radio. Thank you guys very much. Check out phoenixradio.online if you're not there already. That is our website. It's in alpha mode, so the website looks ick. I'm working on it. It's time. We are all volunteers, so please feel free to offer to pitch in. And there we have online and offline positions. And yeah, any help and support is appreciated. Whether it's just giving ideas and suggestions, to voicing characters, to wanting to help run the newsroom. It's all very much appreciated. So for those of you out in Radio Land, thank you very much for listening. I am Beck Altarr. This is Beck Altarr Live on phoenixradio.online. Today on 60 Seconds with an NPC, we have with me Bobby Barbar. What brings you to town?
The time has come to cleanse my homeland.
What was it like?
The halls of the ancients. Magnificent.
I hear you're a fan of TV. Care to share your thoughts?
I've just about had my fill of The Walking Dead.
I would like to give you this gift.
What the hell is that? Thank you. What a strange little statue.
It has some magical properties.
Haha, this is reward enough. This stuff will come in handy. I should take this to Charcy.
Is that your girlfriend? What is she like?
One could get lost in here. Beware foul demons and beasts.
Are you sure you should be talking about her like that? What if she found out?
Let the gate be opened. I shall meet death head on. A fitting death.
What do you fear most about dying?
So cold and damp under the earth.
I certainly hope I don't go out like that.
Good riddance. Eternal suffering would be too brief for you.
Gee, tell me what you really think.
Oops. My apologies. Forgive me. Go on.
Oh, what's wrong?
I can't carry anymore. I am overburdened.
Anything I can do to help?
Stand aside, O fool. I have no time for your babblings.
Well, thank you for your time.
Good. Now I can get out of here and get some fresh air.
This has been another episode of 60 Seconds, 90 Seconds with an NPC. Welcome to another episode of 60 Seconds with an NPC. Today we have Tabby Faywin, all the way from Nomergan.
Hello, hi there.
I hear you have recently gotten into some trouble.
I apologize profusely for any inconvenience my murderous rampage may have caused.
I hear it was quite the fight. Was it kobolds, murlocs, spiders?
I've discovered that getting pummeled by a blunt weapon can be quite painful. You know, squirrels can be deadly when cornered.
Squirrels? Okay then. Moving on. What's on your mind?
You are cute.
Really?
I do not find you completely disagreeable. At this time, I think you should purchase me an alcoholic beverage and engage in diminutive conversation with me in hopes of establishing a rapport.
You want me to get you a drink?
Of course.
I think there's a bit of a difference in scale to make this work.
I don't feel that the 1 to 10 scale is fine enough to capture subtle details of compatibility. I'd prefer a 12-dimensional compatibility scale with additional parameters for mechanical aptitude and torque.
Yeah, but
Your ability to form a complete sentence is a plus.
thank you? I'm not sure what to say. Compliment accepted.
Woohoo! Wonderful.
Moving on. What would you like to achieve most in your life?
Someday, I hope to find the nuggets on a chicken.
That's all the time we have for today. Thanks for stopping by.
It's been quite an experience. I'll always treasure our time together.
This has been another episode of 60 Seconds with an NPC.